Hey, poker people, it's Sky Matsuhashi, and this is the Smart Poker Study Podcast. Make sure you listen to episode 149, where I discussed how to hand read using my 4-step process. Utilize history, assign a range, narrow through the streets, then destroy. It's poker study time, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the second episode this week, and thank you also for sharing the show. I really do appreciate it. Okay, let's just get right to it. 3 questions, 3 answers. It is time. Visit the show notes page for everything I discussed today, along with screenshots and links at www.smartpokerstudy.com/pod150. You know the drill. Gambate!
And now for our feature presentation.
So question 1 today comes to us from Frank, and it was part of a much longer email, but I'm just going to get to the nitty-gritty of it right here. Frank says, I would like to map out a great plan of action as far as studying goes for our group. Within that email, Frank had told me that he has a group of buddies all with the same kind of goal, all at basically the same skill level, and they want to study together as a group. So thanks for that email, Frank. I really do appreciate it. And thanks for introducing me to your buddies and everything. So this is a great idea. I love that you're studying together as a group. Working together like this will lead to more improvement than if you had just studied on your own. You can pool your resources and get more studies done in a shorter amount of time. And here's how I would approach group studies to start with. But as you gain experience, as your team gains experience, you'll probably end up tweaking this as you just learn what suits, everybody in the group. But here's what I'd recommend. First off, choose one topic to study for one entire week. And that could be opening ranges, C-bets, 3-bets, ICM, whatever it is. The second thing is, one person within the group needs to go through Google or Bing, whatever you use, and find 3 different resources to study per person. Now, the resources can be articles, podcasts, videos, forum posts, chapters within books, whatever. Each piece should be different and from various, different producers, like from Split Suit, from me, Jonathan Little, Alex Fitzgerald, whatever the case is. The third thing you should do, each person consumes their 3 pieces of content and they create thorough notes on everything that they learned. The fourth step, on the 6th day of the week, so you start on a Sunday, 6 days later, each person takes their notes and condenses it down to 1 page. This 1 page will have all the most important things that one would need to know about whatever topic you're studying. The 5th step is, on the 7th day, you all get together within a Zoom meeting or a Skype meeting, however you want to do it. Basically something where you can share voice and share screen. And then in that process, you're going to share everything that you learned about what you studied. And the 6th and final step is one person out of the group, and this of course can change each week. It doesn't need to be the same person every time. One person for that week is responsible for taking everyone's 1-page notes and combining it into a multiple-page PDF. And there will be lots of similar ideas on everyone's sheets, but this person will combine it all into a logical document to share with everyone in the group. The goal behind this document would be to create a ultimate guide to blank, whatever it was that you studied for the week. This then gets distributed back to the group for their feedback. Once they all give their feedback, make any possible changes, you'll finalize the document and send it back out to everybody. And now this is your group's ultimate guide to whatever it is you're studying. And if you plan this right, Frank, you and your group can turn this into a pretty good book or a podcast or a weekly blog kind of a thing that you share with the world, or even weekly training videos where you record your Skype or your Zoom conversations. Whatever you want to do, you can turn this into something really big. Just got to use your imagination. Well, thanks again for that question, Frank and team. Question 2 today is about small pocket pairs, and it comes to us from Mike. And once again, it's part of a larger email. I'm going to read this one paragraph that really pertains to everybody here. So, I noticed your ranges include small pocket pairs at a much lower percentile range. Like the 20% range includes all pocket pairs, deuces, and above. But when I use Equilab, 20% only includes pocket pairs from 6s and above. Also, some other sites like pokerhandrange.com have similar 20% ranges to Equilab's pocket, where it's pocket 5s or better. Equilab does not include deuces until you get to almost 60%. I think playing these low pocket pairs is dangerous unless you're set mining. I wind up throwing them away after they become 3rd or 4th pair on the flop. If you don't hit a set, you're usually beat. so I'm not sure how they could be in the top 20% of hands. Can you please elaborate on what you are thinking here? Well, that's a great question and a great observation, Mike. I'm glad you're really diving into that, and not just taking the ranges that I give as as gospel is what you have to follow. I'm glad you're questioning. Thank you very much. And you are right in your assessment of small pocket pairs in that they don't often win unless you hit your set, or you're able to pull off a good underpair bluff, or maybe hit a flopped open-ended straight draw, which you catch and then get value out of. So speaking of deuces through fives in particular, I've removed them from my range from the early positions and the middle positions. I've removed them from my opening range. I might occasionally open them if everybody at the table's passive and I don't expect any 3-bets, but for the most part, I'm holding these hands to the later positions when I can get into the flop rather cheaply and hopefully not face any 3-bets for all the reasons that you stated, Mike. But I do think they deserve to be included within 20% range. I checked out Equilab, like you said, and for sure, it doesn't include all of the small pocket pairs until about 59%, until you use that little slider, that gauge there, until you slide it up to 59%. That's when the pocket deuces finally arrives. But I use Flopzilla much more than Equilab, and Flopzilla includes them at 11%. And I put a screenshot of this in the show notes for everyone to look at, side by side, Equilab versus Flopzilla. And I do like Flopzilla's range slider more than Equilab's. It feels more in line with how most players play. So, for example, Equilab has 10-7 suited down through 10-3 suited in its range before pocket deuces. But everyone you play with will open or call with pocket deuces before those weak 10 suited hands. Another example, Equilab has King 9 offsuit down through King 3 offsuit. That's all in its range before pocket 3s pops in. But everyone plays pocket 3s before they play King 9 offsuit. So even if you may not play small pocket pairs, your opponents will play them before many other hands. When you're ranging opponents, they deserve to be put into pre-flop ranges much sooner than many of those weaker suited and offsuit hands. Also, if you check out MTT push-fold charts, you'll see that pocket pairs are included there much sooner than most non-paired hands, because they often stand up and win when they get called all-in pre-flop. Alrighty, thank you very much for that question again, Mike. So I've started learning better tournament strategy from PokerNerve.com. It's a great tournament site founded by Kelvin Aces Up Beatty. He's been a professional poker player for more than 14 years, and he's got over 4 million in online winnings and 10 online triple crowns. He knows his stuff for sure. PokerNerve specializes in providing the best tournament poker tutorials worldwide. They do this through a course called The Road to Success. This course is jammed with over 90 power-packed lessons and supplemental items. It covers everything from beginner-level topics to advanced tactics, and all of it is explained in an easy-to-understand way. The course is so intensive, it takes most people several months to complete it. And just for my listeners, PokerNerve is running a contest to win one of 7 prizes. They're giving away 1 premium version of the Road to Success tournament course, 3 basic versions, and 3 PokerNerve hoodies. Just enter the contest by visiting www.smartpokerstudy.com/PokerNerveContest. Go there and simply sign up. The contest ends July 31st, and the winners will be contacted via email on August 1st. Also, along with this contest, PokerNerve is offering my listeners 30% off either the basic or the premium Road to Success package. Just use offer code SPS2017 when you're checking out. To learn more about the course, visit pokernerve.com/MTT-poker-course. And as a little bonus, while you're there, you can sign up for a 7-day free trial to access the entire course. And don't forget, if you decide to purchase, SPS 2017 is the code for 30% off. Alrighty, back to class, poker people. So this question is about adjusting your pre-flop ranges, and it comes from Per, interesting name, probably short for something, you know. But anyway, Per says, I need to know which hands to play in different circumstances. I have your charts, but understanding how to make adjustments based on the players in your game would help. Alrighty, thank you very much for that question, Per. I appreciate it. So, to determine how to adjust your pre-flop ranges, it's really your opponents you need to be concerned with. Always pay attention to the 2 to your left and the 2 to your right, as they're the ones you'll get into most of your battles with at the table. You need to know how they play and how they'll likely respond to your open raise or your call or your limp or your 3-bet, whatever it is that you're planning on doing. So if you can expect a certain play after you make yours and you don't want that play, then it's best to make that change or make that adjustment to your range and don't make that play right now. Wait for a better hand, wait for a better spot, whatever the case is. You are making your plays based on your opponents. And here's a way to practice your player profiling. Play focus sessions of just one table where your goal is to understand each opponent at the table. Have a piece of paper in hand and write down all you know about each player and write down exactly what you can do to exploit them. Use your stats, your history, your notes, just your knowledge about their general player type. Now, these exploits will inform your pre-flop hand decisions. So doing this practice, playing these focus sessions, it will really help you understand your opponents. There's a big difference between a nit who only calls 5% of the hands, a tag who calls 10%, a loose aggressive guy who calls 20%, and a mega fish who calls 40% or more of hands. Analyzing each opponent and doing hand reading practice against various types of opponents will really help you to improve your understanding and to add to your in-game adjustments. Also, I really recommend that you check out podcast episodes 123, 124, and 125. All of those were part of the Understanding Your Opponent's Minimum Effective Dose, and those episodes are really going to dive in and help you understand your opponents a little bit more. So good luck on making those adjustments per challenge. Here's my challenge to you for this episode. Play a focus session where you analyze each opponent on the table, starting with the 2 to your left, the 2 to your right, then moving around the table until you get all of them. Your goal is to develop your understanding of each of them so you know the best way to exploit and earn chips from them, no matter which one you're up against. Now it's your turn to take action and do something positive for your poker game.
Now get it on.
So this episode isn't complete until you head to the show notes page at www.smartpokerstudy.com/pod150. Go there for screenshots and links to everything I discussed today. Alrighty, thank you so much for listening to another Q&A. It's actually the 6th episode for July as well. Thank you very much. Make sure you check out Poker Nerve and sign up for their contest by visiting www.smartpokerstudy.com/pokernervecontest. And you can learn more about the Road to Success tournament course by visiting pokernerve.com. And if you purchase, use offer code SPS2017 for 30% off and to support the show. Cool. If you can type the words Smart Poker Study, you can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and now on Anchor. You can also hear the show on your Amazon Echo device. Just tell it to play the Smart Poker Study podcast on TuneIn. And if you have any questions you'd love answered, send me an email, sky@smartpokerstudy.com. Alrighty, next week in episode 151, I'll continue the hand reading MED with Class 2 when I discuss using Flopzilla off the felt to develop your hand reading skills. Word of mouth is the best advertising, so thank you very much for sharing this with your buddies or your gal pals, whatever the case. Your sharing and caring is what helps us grow. Until next time, study smart, play much, and make your next session the best one yet.
I wanna rise, I want the